Errol Barnett is at the White House. He joins us now. Errol, if Deputy Attorney Rod Rosenstein were to accuse himself, what does that mean for the Russia meddling and collusion investigation?
Well, I can tell you, Rena, it would certainly trigger alarm bells on both sides of the aisle on Capitol Hill. Let's remember that Attorney General Jeff Sessions recused himself back in March of all things Russia, and that's why Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein essentially became the one to oversee all of this. But if Rosenstein was to recuse himself, which, by the way, the latest information we have from the Department of Justice is that he does not intend to do that. If this did happen, it would throw a wrench into the investigations into Russian interference, potential collusion, and of course this obstruction of justice case. And that's because once he steps aside, responsibilities would fall to the number 3rd person at the Department of Justice, Associate Attorney General Rachel Brand, who has been in the job less than a month. She would be the one who would essentially have the authority to fire Robert Mueller. She would be the only person with that authority, and she would be overseeing these highly complicated and sensitive cases. And as far as we can see, she's an unknown commodity. Most of her experience is as a corporate lawyer. Her portfolio at this stage essentially includes environmental policy and civil rights, and her experience is really with corporate law. So she would become a central figure and would be tasked with tackling one of the most difficult questions any lawyer could tackle: if she should bring criminal charges against a sitting president. An incredibly difficult and consequential decision that we just don't know how she would respond to because we haven't reached that stage yet. We do know that President Trump, through what he says and through what former FBI Director James Comey has testified, he does apply pressure to people in government involved in investigations, and he voices his opinion. He does seem to apply pressure, and that's why you have these conversations of, is there enough evidence now for an obstruction of justice charge post-Comey firing because of the way the president behaves?
And Errol, we're also hearing that Special Counsel Robert Mueller it appears that he's expanding who he's looking into in this investigation. Where does that stand at this point?
Well, we do know that Robert Mueller has assembled his team, which includes the top criminal law experts, and we realized or discovered this week that the probe now includes any efforts by those in the government, the president himself and his associates, any efforts to influence or interfere with the probe into former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. We do know that the Director of National Intelligence, the head of the NSA, have agreed to be interviewed by the Special Prosecutor's Office, and we understand that all of the evidence collection is ongoing, and it includes any public statements the president makes as it relates to these investigations. So the daily tweets by the president are part of a case that would be brought against Mr. Trump as it relates to obstruction of justice.
Errol Barnett, thank you, Errol.